So this is obviously the loadout that I really wanted to show off. This is my ultimate Demolisher rocket loadout. It's really quite absurd. Obviously, I'm currently using my Bazooka as the primary because, and then my sidearm is, in fact, the Meeker Mark 28, which is just a fabulous felt little blaster, and then a ridiculous amount of gear designed to hold Demolisher rockets. So let's take a look at it all. I'll show you what all I've got here, and hopefully I'll be able to find the links. They'll be down in the description if anyone actually wants to build this absurd thing. Right, so obviously the heart and soul of this loadout is, of course, the capacity, the ability to carry 3 dozen Demolisher rockets in a fairly reasonable manner. And what we have at the heart of that is, of course, this vest. It is a vest designed to hold 12-ounce cans of liquids. But it turns out it fits Demolisher rockets absolutely perfect. They're the right length, the right size, it doesn't crush the fins. Lovely. The vest holds a solid dozen. We then have a similar can belt that holds another half a dozen. They are also nice, they fit in there nicely without any problems about the fins or anything like that. The sling on the Bazooka, which is just a standard N-strike sling, holds another half a dozen right there. We then have the rocket bandolier that came with some of the rockets that I reviewed. It holds another 8. We then, of course, have the can helmet. This idea came to me from, I believe Chris from CavtainXavierNerf gave me this idea, and I love it. Immediately went and just ordered one on Amazon. And then there is, of course, one in the chamber on the Meeker Mark II and one in the chamber on the Bazooka, bringing us up to the full 3 dozen. If I wanted to go further, I do have a satchel that I used to store my Demolisher rockets that holds at least another 3 dozen, so I could double the capacity just with that. Get a little bit more awkward there, but it would, if I knew I was gonna need a lot of rockets, I could do that and it wouldn't be too bad. Now, for the primary, I of course had the Bazooka, not because it's actually the most efficient of blasters, but because it was the most iconic and the most just fun. if I were really going to run this loadout in an even remotely functional capacity, I would, of course, probably run something like an XBZ that has all of the power but is far more compact. This thing is awkward and cumbersome, though it does have a certain intimidation factor, which is fun. For true practicality, of course, we have my modified Meeker Mark 28, which I have obviously modified it to have a stock attachment point because I'm me. Right now I just have a Demolisher stock on it, though somewhere I do have a stock that I made out of a Thunderblast stock and a Raider stock, which holds 2 rockets, but for the life of me, I can't figure out where it went. It's in a bin here somewhere, but there are a lot of bins around here. Anyway, this is a wonderful design. I worth every penny to buy the files, and then I made my own modifications to the files so that it could take a stock. I do need to put a heavier spring in it, and at that point I will do a video on it, on the modifications, and show it on the range, and show off the range and the accuracy and all of that. The holster that I'm using for it is just a small dump pouch. I've reviewed these before. They're really quite nice. They work well as just regular mag pouches, dump pouches, especially for half darts because they're so small. They will hold, I think, 2 or 3 mega magazines. I'm not sure if this one was. I know I have one that does, that fits them beautifully, and that is fantastic. But they also work beautifully as a holster for the Meeker Mark 28. They are MOLLE, but they also can just be modified to just be a regular belt loop style, which is what I had it set up for here. If I wanted to run this as my primary and not holster it and wanted to add a little bit more firepower, I could, of course, add the Proud Papa with the rocket post and have that one last Hail Mary shot because it's a real short range, but if a shield was rushing me or a tank zombie or whatever was rushing me, that could make all the difference. But to be able to holster it, you wouldn't have that on there. But it is an excellent rocket launcher blaster. Obviously, this is not the most practical of loadouts in most situations, but in certain very specific situations, it could be a very, very useful support class. If you're running a game like ours at our wars, where they destroy shields and destroy weapons, if the other team was running a lot of shields, this could be very valuable. Or if the other team had a lot of really powerful blasters like proton packs or god hoppers on Prometheuses or whatnot, if you could get in and hit them with a rocket in our group, that blaster is destroyed and can't be used for the rest of that round. So this could have a very balancing effect or imbalancing effect. There are also games where rockets, like Afterworlds, where rockets do area of effect. Something like this would be very powerful there. You'd never be able to run it as a player because you'd never be able to make this many explosives, but as an NPC, it could be a real fun, challenging boss of someone who's just festooned with rockets and just blows everything up. There are also HVZs where sometimes it takes heavier ammunition. Ragnar Oktoberfest had it one year where there were super zombies that took mega or bigger, and so rockets were useful in those situations. And obviously you could run a dart blaster on here on, obviously on a thigh rig, have magazines on one leg and a strife or something on the other, or half dart, something similar. And yeah, you could then be a lot more versatile. Or alternatively, you could just put more rockets on your legs. There is a pouch that I found. I was building a new vest for Nerf Wars and ordered the wrong pouches. These ones were supposed to be AA pouches, but it turns out they are just a little bit smaller, and so they don't fit in Nerf magazines very well, but they do fit Demolisher rockets quite excellently. So it's a good way to get just a pair of rockets on a vest, or if you wanted to festoon a vest with them or throw them on thigh rigs or something, this would allow you to have a few more rockets. So links to those will be in the description. All the links to anything that I have links for will be down in the description if somebody wanted to actually build this absurd loadout. And yeah. So that is episode 1 of Escalating Loadouts. This was, in fact, a lot of fun. I do plan to do more of them. The next 3 that I plan to do are melee, shotguns, and snipers. If there is another loadout type that you think would be good for this format, escalating format, let me know, and I will see if I have the means to do it. I will, of course, the end goal of those will be to have an actual really practical or functional final loadout, something that I would actually run at an event, and then stepping it down to sillier and sillier stuff until I'm, throwing using a jolt or something. Anyway, it'll be fun. Look forward to it, and I look forward to your suggestions. Hope you enjoyed this. I definitely did. Thank you guys for watching.